Hello there, everyone who cares about this sort of thing. So the other day I realized you can download and install whatever version of Mac OS that your computer's recovery will let you, but install it on an external hard drive and then just boot from that. So I'm running on a 2012 Retina MacBook Pro, and the oldest version of Mac OS that it would let me download was Mountain Lion. So I slapped that on an external drive and just kind of poked around to see what it looks like. You can see here OS X version 10.8. We're going to my deeper system info. There it is, MacBook Pro Retina mid 2012. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that it's basically the same general idea as the newer versions of Mac OS. Right here, I thought it would be funny to click memory upgrade instructions because the RAM on this particular laptop is soldered to the motherboard. So I'm wondering if it would just say, a big page that says you can't upgrade it. But whatever page it used to redirect to, it doesn't anymore. It's just the Apple support official main page. So that was anticlimactic. There isn't going to be too much structure to this sort of poke through. I'm pretty much just going to open all of the apps and poke through them a little bit, look at their settings if I remember to. You can see me right now looking through Safari's preferences, and like I said, it's pretty much the same basic principle, just older iconography and user interface design. All the stuff in the top bar is basically what you'd expect it to be, just using the older font. Now here's the first legitimate issue that I ran into. It appears that this older version of Safari doesn't have the SSL certificate store needed for a lot of modern websites. I confirm that I have the right time and date. You can see the other kind of issue that I ran into is that the plus sign worked differently. Back then it was kind of a maximize button, but also kind of not. I never really understood completely how it worked, and of course now that button by default just acts as sort of a full screen button, which you can see on the top right there. You could a minute ago. And if you want to access the old zoom button, you hit options. Now I'm just kind of poking around the iconography on the top right. You can see my hotspot, the sound options. That's what the battery icon used to look like. One difference is that the spotlight search shows up in the middle of the screen now. Now here's the first interesting thing, is that the notification shade has the same sort of gray crosshatch background as iOS 6 and earlier versions do. And if memory serves, this was right around the time Apple really started trying to bring iOS and OS X together in terms of consistency. You can see the same sort of skeuomorphic icon design at the bottom. Like I said, the notification area. So right around here is where I'm just going to start going one by one through the system preferences categories and just kind of seeing what I can find. That LCD font smoothing thing doesn't do a whole lot on a Retina display. It just kind of made the font thinner. Some of these screensavers look really neat. I wonder if they're all there on newer versions. And here I got reminded that mission control is a thing. It's a button that you press and it zooms out and you view your virtual desktops as well as the dashboard. And virtual desktops, pretty much do what they say on the tin. They're just different desktops you can ask to. Now here's something that isn't really a thing anymore, and that's the dashboard. The dashboard was an area off to the left of your virtual desktops that held widgets. Now the widgets are in the notification area, much as they are in iOS. But they were just little things you could use for information, or in this case, just to screw around with. I'm just going to kind of go one by one and see what they look like, see what they do. And moving on from that distraction, just back to more poking around the settings. Okay, so here's a good opportunity to talk about the screen recorder that I'm using. The screen recorder that I'm using is the built-in one through QuickTime Player. Now, on newer versions of macOS, it seems to record the full screen at full resolution, just like you'd expect. However, on this older version of macOS, it seems to compress it a little. I couldn't find a screen recorder that worked with a version of OS X this old. So I just kind of dealt with it, but that little jump cut you just saw there was when it crashed. I think I tried to screw around with the display settings and it didn't like it. But just more going through the settings, seeing what's there. It all looks pretty much the same as what's on modern versions of macOS. The iCloud stuff obviously looks a little different. iCloud is a lot more integrated into things now. You can see all the old versions of the different services like Exchange and Gmail. Is there that giant on-off switch on new versions of Time Machine? I'll have to check that. I know I'm using it, but I don't think I noticed that there. Alright, so having explored the system settings, now we're just going to kind of go one by one through the applications that are pre-installed on this version of OS X, starting of course with the Finder. I'm not going to bother connecting an actual mail account to this, so I'll just throw up a screenshot that I can find. Here's the Contacts app. You can see it's kind of cute, looks like an actual book. Reminders app, continuing that skeuomorphic design, looks like an actual little notebook. Again, not really wanting to connect my actual iMessage account, but you can get a general feel for it here. I'll try and find another screenshot to insert in, but let's just take a look at the settings. And here I open FaceTime without thinking about it, and yep, the front-facing camera works, but you're not going to see it. Here's Game Center with all its green felt and wood glory. And I'll save you the trouble with a lot of these older system apps. They basically haven't changed at all. Like I said, they're using the old font and the old brushed metal user interface stylings, but it's the same thing.